Yeah, it's one of those times, man. You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene Cowboys versus Commanders recap show. I'm Wole. That's Ray. And we are also joined by founder of CWall Sports and Entertainment and Bowie TV's Commanders beat reporter, Candy Waller. Candy, what is good?
I was about to say, well, like the game, you don't remember my last name? I want to say,
No, no. I was
messing
depressed
with
about something. It's like
you.
I'm like this.
I'm messing. Like, dang, they got you like that. Nah,
Nah,
this is a mess.
nah. Some you know how some pops up on your screen. You're like,
Yeah,
oh shoot.
I know.
You know, I was like, oh wait a minute. Let me not act all dumb. What's up? What's up, Paul? What's good, homie? Yeah, I know he's John feeling. A lot of fans are in they feeling.
Paul back for more, huh? I watched all
Yeah,
y'all earlier.
it's
I
all
guess
good.
that's
Yeah,
the
today the Washington Commanders fell to the Dallas Cowboys 34-26. Before we talk all about the game, let's knock off some logistics. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene and Bowie TV YouTube channels. This recap is being streamed on both channels. Hit that red subscribe button. Also, like the video on all those platforms. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, Can't get right into it. I mentioned the score 34-26. The Commanders fell to the Dallas Cowboys, who seemed that like they were on their all-time low. Thoughts on the game for yourself?
I mean, I for certain this was the worst I know I've seen the Commanders offense play.
Yeah.
I've been pretty consistent in my messaging around what's going on with the Commanders offense. What is happening with the Commanders offense? We know that Jaden Daniels was injured in the October 20th game versus the Carolina Panthers, right? So it was always kind of like is he hurt?
Yeah.
Still hurt? What's going on, right? And I made a comment, and I'm gonna go ahead and just say it out loud. I made a comment in the press box when things started getting really bad. It just looked bad.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? The worst thing that could have happened to this offense was that Hail Mary. That Hail Mary. That was the worst thing.
Boy.
And the reason why is because when I first went into it, and sometimes this about me, and I'll say this publicly, it's like after games, it's kind of like depending on what happens, depending on what I really have a question about, I will have to decide whether I'm going to Coach Quinn's presser or Jaden's presser, or if I'm going in the locker room, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I have to see, just where I move to go, because I go to pressers and practice all during the week as well.
Yeah.
So it's like where I want the initial reaction. But I said that Hail Mary hurt because it helped. It was amazing, right? It was almost like the best thing, but it was the worst thing, because one of the things that I asked Coach Quinn about, and I tried to smooth it over, right? It was like, hey, great team win, but was it? I'm like, the offense didn't get going. And he said, yes, this game was frustrating. We saw the offensive struggles that game.
Yep.
And truth be told, the offense has not been right. That was week 8. And it was one thing I know about week 8, just from being around in the business and understanding and just learning. It's typically around the time, right? Because at this point, it's 8 weeks. It's 2 months worth of what? Film.
Yep.
And I said, right around this time is going to let me know what the offense is really hitting on. Right? Because everybody's going to have film, and that's on everybody, but can you adjust?
Yep.
Right? And so each week, we saw the week after, yes, the Commanders beat the Giants, but it wasn't very convincing. It wasn't a domineering game, but they won. Right? And so when you kind of continue to look at all that stuff, I just already was like, let me just put it out there. Because the highlighting of the struggles on offense, and we can get into what the clues are, where that is now, because I've already replayed it. I already know what it is. All right, here we go. But it started at week 8, and because of the Hail Mary, it was easy to overlook it, because you're looking at highlights of Hail Marys all week, and you almost feel bad going back to the fact that the offense is struggling, everybody, but they won.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the Pittsburgh game was also a challenge, Because while I was very impressed with Jaden in that game, the offense as a whole still struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if people were really paying attention, if teams were really, really in real life paying attention to that game, the Steelers just gave you a blueprint on what to do to contain Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a staff to do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
You got to call plays. You have to have the right personnel going in order to combat that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave a whole lot right there, but I'm like, yo, the offense has been struggling since week 8. And today it just finally just hit a wall.
No, I totally agree. Ray, you want to say something before I read Paul's question, or you want me to go into Paul's question?
No, I just wanted to ask you real quick, Handy,
Yeah.
if you think that Commanders fans and maybe even the Commanders themselves, they thought they had an advantage because of Dan Quinn's familiarity with the Cowboys, but the Cowboys also have familiarity with him. Do you think that played a role in today's game?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things Coach Joe Witt Jr. shared in his press conference last week. You got to go with what you know about players and teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said you have to go with what you know that they know about you.
Mm.
Key point. They know about you.
Yeah.
So you got to be different. You got to show up different.
Mm.
And there's some facets of this game that did not show up as different. At one point in the game, I'm like, well, I don't know about anybody else, but it's obvious to me that the Dallas Cowboys would like to lose this football game.
Yeah.
It was obvious. They were like giving it away. But hey,
yes.
It's only but so many gifts I'm going to give you. You ain't taking it. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my power back and go ahead and make it do what it do. Because now you're just making this easy. We just making mistakes. I mean, good Lord, we're giving you the football and you just can't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. That was like one of my biggest issues with the game.
They were
Paul
giving it away. And I was just like, what?
I know. Paul said, Candy, here's a question for them. What is the time to go to the younger players, 82, Wiley, Cass Allen, to get some speed on the field to go with Jaden and Terry?
But when you're talking about some of those players, they're on the practice squad, so they don't.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to see if they get called up.
Saying if they get called up, they typically don't get called up unless somebody is hurt.
Okay.
Right now, here's one thing. I've been begging for Ben Sinnott to get involved, but here's one thing. Sometimes you get him involved, and then you get a false start penalty, and then you're like, oh, but he's a heck of a blocker. My goodness, that block on Jaden's touchdown, that was a Ben Sinnott move right there. That was tremendous. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that makes a difference if the play calling is the same. That's the challenge. Right. I think what we're seeing, because today is to go back to is Jaden hurt? Is he? That was Jaden looked like himself.
Yeah.
He was running with speed. That looked like himself. I think they just. It's week 12.
Yeah.
And it was around week 8 when teams have film on you. They got you. They got film on, but coaches know that more than me.
Yeah.
So why not, once you see, and I think the challenge becomes with and I don't know this for a fact, this is just me talking to you all.
Yeah.
It is when you're dealing with a player that is as smart and cerebral as a Jaden Daniels, he can read a defense and he understands that the defense is reading him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rookie, so now you're in your head. But you got to go with what the play is called. If you don't see anything, then you don't go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But now they on to you. Like the Steelers gave people the blueprint. I'm for real. When I went back and watched the film, I was Steelers just showed everybody how to beat them right there.
Yeah, everybody's doing the same thing.
Everybody's doing literally everybody's doing the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Eagles.
I agree with that.
Today. The only reason why the Cowboys wasn't doing it earlier is because they were just that bad that they were like, here's the football.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything with the football. So at that point, they're like, let's go ahead and just, because it was just really, it looked like two really bad teams playing against each other. They're like really bad.
Yeah, I think Paul said Jaden is a Formula One driver, driving a Ford pickup truck. Pickup. I think it's every. I think for me, I know people like to separate the two, but I think they're all it's encompassed. I think it's all included. Like Jaden, it's all included. I think some of his play, it's a play call. It's Jaden teams picking up things to Jaden's tendencies. You know what I mean? And all it's all together.
Yeah.
But it's time. But this is the job of the OC, right? It's trying to make life easy for the young quarterback. I think we kind of all fell in love with the notion of Jaden's going to like take this whole thing and have that like that CJ Stroud type of season, right? Like that type of season. When that's a once in a lifetime kind of season, right? To have a guy, a young quarterback, put the whole team on his back and kind of lead you to the playoffs and win a division and things of that sort. But like to your point, like they're pretty much taking away the middle, like the easy throws on the field, like the intermediate stuff, and say Jaden beat us deep or do the long developing routes. And I've said this before, and this is not a knock on Jaden, and this is what I'm saying. Could have to make things a little bit easier for Jaden. In my opinion, people have kind of adjusted to it. Is that Jaden wants to see things open, and that's like rookie quarterbacks. Things have to be wide open, and when you're throwing, when you're stretching the field deep, you got to anticipate a little bit more. You know what I mean? So, but Jaden's not going to take the risk of throwing picks, which I do like about Jay. If he doesn't see, he doesn't throw it, right? I like that about him. But you're going to have to test these individuals if you want to open the middle, open the intermediate routes up. You're going to have to test them deep. You're going to have to. So that's the thing that defenses are, like you said, you've seen it, like you said, adjusted. Defense are taking away that. They're taking away those give me yards, those intermediate. They're taking it away. They're playing up now and taking those routes away. So it's up to Jaden and Cliff. It's not just Cliff. It's both. Jaden and Cliff have to adjust. They're not giving you that anymore. They're taking that away from you. You're going to have to adjust.
And you saw that so abundantly clear in the Pittsburgh Steelers game.
Yeah.
Even when they sped the game up, not all the receivers could rock with it. So everybody did it. Oh, hey, Mom. I have not called my mother after the game. I know
that's messed up. You supposed to call your mom. Oh, man, you slipping.
Hey, Mom. That's like, no, I didn't. I was asking her.
You got to call Mom. She's slipping.
And Mama Waller did a good prayer for the Commanders this morning, y'all. She did it.
I appreciate it. Trying.
But you are absolutely correct. I mean, it's just they got to figure out how to. They got to look at what they put together. They got to mix it up. And the other challenge becomes, again, this goes back to the Hail Mary, right? What did you see them do toward the end of the game? Now you got a sense of urgency. And I said in the press box, I was like, oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Please don't win the football game. Don't do it. Please don't. Because then this will be another week.
True.
Because I had already saw the post. Jaden Daniels is a miracle where I think he is phenomenal. Let me be very, very clear. It is not just on Jaden.
Yeah, I agree.
It is not. It is absolutely not. It's going to take the, they're going to have the collective is going to have to understand and accept. They know who we are now. So yeah, she was yelling, probably watching me.
I love it.
But yeah, but that was the worst I've seen them play offensively. It was almost like they were defeated early. It was just, I think we did some numbers around 3 and outs when we were in the press box.
Yeah.
They hadn't had like this many three and outs like the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season. They just knew how to extend plays, but that's because people didn't know what they were doing.
No, I agree. I thought that, like Paul said, and to your point, I said that in the post game. The post game shows that they played with no sense of urgency. Yeah, they didn't.
Not until the very end.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was a whole weird game plan. I feel like for me, Cliff's game plan was just off. Dallas has one of the most atrocious run defenses in the NFL, and I felt like Cliff was trying to pass out of it early. Like he was passing way too much. And I was like, if you watch Dallas throughout this season, they can't stop the run. Like you saw we saw what Houston did on primetime on Monday night. We saw what Houston did. We saw what the Ravens did. Like they're like most. If you look at the games, most of the games are getting torched on the ground, and this is the game. For some strange reason, Cliff wanted to open things up and try to get some quick passing games. Do the quick passing game. And I'm thinking to myself, no, run the football. This is a team that we've seen on prime time that's pretty much quit. So give them a reason to quit. Usually when you play physical, when you play physical with a team, typically if they're quitting in spirit, if you're physical with this team, with the team, they're going to quit eventually. They're going to dwindle away and quit. You know what? Real talk. We've seen it last year when a team can quit here.
Yeah,
we've seen it last year when a team can quit. So
but at the same, but to that point, because even when B-Rob went out and they weren't using Austin as much, use Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah, just run. Just try. Like that's what your strong point is. Paul says they don't have a Joe Mixon, but Paul, like they didn't even try. Like they didn't even try.
You have to have a Joe.
You didn't even try.
Not against that run defense.
Yeah,
exactly. Not against that one. So it's almost like you ever see or been around somebody where it's like they're so smart, they don't make just the common sense decisions.
Facts. Exactly. Totally agree. I know you're going with it. Yeah.
Just know that you're better, right? And once you pick up, or if you know, like once you pick up, because you should be able to pick it up, like they know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do something else.
I agree.
And go with what works, right? So what works is your running game. And Terry, that is what you do until it doesn't work anymore.
I totally agree.
Because you're gonna use Terry in the clutch moment. It was a beautiful play call. Now that at the end, beautiful play call, beautiful. And oh my goodness, if Terry didn't put the wheels on for that one,
that stopped the.
They was ready for that. You could tell they was ready for it. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I got to be honest. I didn't want them to win at that point. And I was like, please don't do this. But I couldn't help myself. I said, Terry, run for your life. X-Lake. I was like, Terry, run for your life. Go for it. Go run fast like the wind. Yeah. And then I said, you know what? I really hope they don't, because then everybody's going to forget just how putrid this game has been.
I mean, if you look at and it was just I'm responding to something Paul said. Well, I mean that's on Cliff, because I'm looking on in the Gallus group of games, and there's backs on here that are averaging yards and carry that aren't prominent, and they're getting good yardage against the Cowboys. So that's just up to that's up to what Cliff was decided to do. Again, I don't think the game plan offensively was good against this team.
No, it was really strange.
You run the football and get 3rd and 2. I'm still running the football. I ain't going to lie to you. This is not the team that you have to worry about to stop the run. This is not the Steelers defense that you saw. This is not the Eagles defense that you saw. This defense is so much. It's so, in terms of run defense, it is so much less. It's lesser than most of these defense you've feen. But go ahead, Ray. I felt like I cut you off.
Oh, you didn't really cut me off. It's so many comments about Cliff and Jaden on Twitter and been floating around. I definitely want to get back to it, because in addition to running on first down, the quick throws that Jaden was comfortable with earlier in the season, I think you could have reverted to that as well, because you don't want Jaden Daniels in 3rd and long. That's when teams feel like they can blitz, and that's been a trend. That's something that Cliff needs to pick up on. Not saying that we're better offensive minds than him, but we're observing the game just like anybody else that is an analyst or whatever, and I think that is something that teams are picking up on, kind of what Candy's saying, and most fans, and that's been the knock on Cliff, is that people adjust, and then does he adjust is the question. But real quick, I want to ask you, Candy, about the locker room. There was a different vibe going on. Jeremy Reeves looked like he was on the verge of tears. Said he missed the tackle. He put the onus on himself, and then you had Bobby Wagner who basically gave a speech like, "Look, we're getting ready to run off these next 5 games, and then holla at me then." So it's kind of a mixed bag. What was the locker room like? Obviously, you're angry you lost to a division rival, but what was your sense of what the locker room felt like after the game?
A lot of players were out of there quick.
Of course.
And a lot of players were like Jeremy Reeves. Specifically Jordan McGee, because I mean, again, being very transparent, Jordan's one of my people. There's one of my people. They all my people, but that's one of my youngest right there. And it hurt me so bad. But I was just like, oh, Jordan. Oh. because I feel like that lane was on him. I feel like he stays where he is. He gets that tackle. Kavontae Turpin just made a heck of a play. He did. Because, but hey, when I ask questions, you all hear me on the press conference. When I ask the questions of what do you see that a team does well? What do you see from the film? And Coach Quinn mentioned Kavontae first, and he mentioned CD, and he mentioned Micah, and that is why I said on the pregame show, I said if it's 3 people that's still playing today, that's Turpin, that's CD, that's Micah. They got a chance.
All 3 of them did something.
3 of them.
All 3 of them did something.
Got a chance to win, and that is exactly the 3 people that Dan Quinn said is these 3, and of course he knows them.
Yeah,
the Turpin had that was just that was an excellent play. He just fooled him. I mean, he actually fumbled and he recovered his own fumble. Nobody touched him, so he kept it moving, and everybody he turned the field. He was gone. By the time they realized what had happened, he was and he's fast. So Jordan was there very long time. Him and Jeremy, they were very upset.
Okay, so they stayed and they
stayed. Bobby Wagner was there, but Bobby was also, to your point, Ray, the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about, hey, look, this team won 4 games all year last year. All right. We've already won 7. Get it together. Okay. We're gonna move on. We're gonna watch this film. We're gonna do better, but we're gonna move on now because you've already done better. You've already done better, like seriously, than you did the whole year. So you cannot be in here all along like that. People got to go home. Seriously, they're in it for a long time. Yeah. They were the last 2, but he was there not because he was sad. I mean, of course, he's disappointed, but he was there to be the veteran that he is and the leader that he is, to hear the guys out. But he wants them to, okay, you feel bad, you're down, you sad, but hey, let's collect and let's hold our heads up and let's walk out of here with some pride. Let's go ahead and go home. But it was rough though, seeing some of the guys like that. It was a couple of the O-line. There's a lot of people that was still not a lot. They leave fast. They don't necessarily want to talk to all of us. Yeah. But by the time, because it's so much more media on game days. So practice days are a little bit better, right? Because it's a much smaller unit of media there. So we'll see how they do the rest of the week. But yeah, they've hurt feelings. It's 3 losses in a row and another division loss. So
let me put some my man Deluxe put out there. Deluxe division opponents always they're always dangerous, especially when nothing to lose. Washington made many mistakes, learn from it. Yeah, they made a lot of mistakes. And
they've been making the same mistakes though for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about some of those mistakes, but let me pull up what Paul said. Candy Ray Wally, do you think a change at a certain position is coming to shake this team up?
He would have to be very specific.
Yeah, Paul, what change? You talking about cornerback?
Probably kicker. But
I don't think it's kicker. I think he's talking about cornerback. No, Paul.
Well, cornerback wasn't your issue today, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was if the
offense, that last play on the half.
But if the offense was clicking on all cylinders,
yeah, that's true. I know. I'm with
you. Then the game is 28-0.
Oh, he said tight end and running back. Wow.
Fire 25.
It's like at that point, the offense was so bad. Like, let's just keep it a buck. If you already know the number of times, I think the last time I saw the time of possession, the game wasn't even over. Yeah. And the Cowboys offense had the football 13 more minutes than the Commanders offense. It is completely absurd to think your defense is going to hold when they've literally been on the field 13 more minutes than the offense.
Yeah.
If the offense is hitting like it did week 1 through 7, that game is like 28-0 at the half. Maybe 28-3. Seriously, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's okay. They would have kept scoring. That, I don't, because you already know what you're going to get on defense. Let's also start there. You know what you're going to get. The offense challenges is the more disturbing of the challenges because that's the most drastic of changes.
Mm-hmm.
You already know what you're going to get on defense. But when you see these like drastic changes like this,
mm-hmm.
then you should be alarmed. Now, if there's a back to tight end and running back, I'm going to say this. Brian Robinson Jr. is banged up again.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler is not well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had to release Chris Rodriguez to bring up Javonte, which was unfortunate because you had to sign Chris to deal with the injuries with B-Rob.
Yeah.
Right. So you couldn't just put him back to the practice squad. You got to release him. Hope he doesn't get picked up on waivers.
Yep.
Right. Because now you need him.
You do need, now you definitely do. That's facts.
You need him now.
Yeah, I want to say about tight ends because Paul keeps saying tight end. Like you look at Zach Ertz stats, they're not bad, bro. In terms of tight ends, they're not bad. That's what I keep saying. Like he's almost 500 yards receiving. He had a touchdown today. For a tight end, that's pretty good. So I keep saying like tight end isn't like the secondary tight ends. I do think that you can utilize Ben Sinnott more.
I definitely utilize Ben Sinnott.
I agree with that. But in terms of saying like tight end is like I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Like the last 2 games, Zach Ertz has had he had a touchdown against the Eagles, had a touchdown against the Cowboys. So he's as a tight end, he's getting in the end zone. So I don't know like what folks are looking for when it comes to the tight end position in terms of like he's been good. He's been solid. Like it hasn't do we need more help at tight end? I mean, in terms of somebody who additional to him, yes, I agree with that. But I don't think as him being tight end number one.
John Bates made a good play today, and then he fumbled. That'd be the thing that happens, right? Because you see like a Ben Sinnott or a John Bates, and then they'll make great blocking plays or do something like that, and then you turn around and fumble the football. Then it's like, here we go.
Yeah, and the issue with Bates is because I'd be having issues with Bates because I think Bates a great blocking tight end, right? He's a good blocking tight end. Great issues often, but like the issue with Bates is like he tends to. We've had him here long to see what he does, right? Like he'll drop some passes, he'll fumble every once in a while. He'll fumble. His thing is blocking. Like you don't really want him in a passing game.
Like is blocking.
Yeah, you don't really want him in the passing game. You know what I mean? So I just feel like if you can get somebody alongside Zach Ertz, like if Ben Sinnott alongside of Zach Ertz would be a good combination rather than Bates. But because I think to your point, Candy, like Ben Sinnott, if Bates is a great blocker. Ben Sinnott is a good blocker, so why not have him in another pass catching tight end?
More. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Give him more time. I totally agree with you. My man, what Deluxe came out and said something. Oh, you said I think you said Deluxe said offense stuttered bad out the gate. Defense and special teams kept them in it. When offense woke up, the other phases faltered. Let a division opponent hang around when it have been over.
Agree with that. Absolutely correct. All you had to do was be who you said you are. Oh, you really didn't have to be who you said you are. Really don't. You just have to be what you've done previously. I mean, everything that, like I said, you know what you're going to get in those other facets of the game. You already know. So that's just what. The offense is when I'm seeing comments around you didn't get what you needed from all 3 phases. No, you did not.
Yeah.
But when you talk about where the most drastic change has been, it's with the offense. And because yes, there was an injury to Jaden, right?
Yeah.
You got lack of execution too, because during the Steelers, Jaden was able to adjust. Terry was able to adjust. All those drops. Like the O-line got smoked against the Eagles. Let's just be for real. Once they got B-Rob across that touchdown line, I think the Eagles defense was like, and they was talking, they was talking cash trash. I said, y'all gonna really do this in Lincoln Financial? Y'all gonna really do this? And they really did. And the Eagles defense was like, hold my beer. You're not gonna do this on TV. Got up here, and they made them pay. They smoked. They got after that touchdown. If you go back and watch that game, they lit them up. They just got beat, and so I mean, are we seeing them get beat fair and square? Yes, but today All you had to do was be who you were week 1 to 7.
Mm.
And they didn't even do that.
That's an excellent segue. I just, Candy, you always show you love, and Donna, and of course Lake. And I want to paraphrase something that Lake said, and then I'm gonna ask you our next question. Lake said this is the 4th straight game that the Commanders haven't played complimentary football. One unit performs well, and the other doesn't. So, Candy, with that being said, is there any particular unit or player, or is it the coaching staff? Who do you put this loss on, or is it just everybody as a collective group today?
I just gotta go. Like I'm like in my collective group with the offense, and I'm gonna just keep. I'm gonna keep staying there because I know that everybody has said as long as Jaden is on the field, they know they got a chance, and I thought that that comment didn't sit well with me because I believe it. I agree, but he needs help. He needs help, right? And Lake is absolutely right. He was saying that in the press box. It's complimentary. It's not complimentary football, right? You'll find the defense holding as long as they can, right? But if you could just think, if this offense is producing, then it don't matter, you know. And then and it's just because you're not. And I say this on my show all the time. Look, these people are professionals. It's not going to be a donut. It's not going to be 0. It's just not. Somebody's going to score. Like Joe Witt Jr. said, sometimes people are going to get beat. Mikey got beat today. Yeah. And everybody love Mikey. Mikey got beat today, everybody.
Noah was getting worked.
Noah was getting smoked.
Listen, he was getting worked.
Everybody talking about number 25 today, number 1, put him in a bind.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yep.
But it is also a defender they know very well. So they knew who to pick on in the right moments. That's easy money. Right? So I still go back to offense, but in the words of Joe Witt Jr., but when your unit is not performing, it's my fault. So then you got to turn around and look at Cliff Kingsbury. And Cliff Kingsbury has too much help on that staff. To not be like, I'm stuck. You got to be able to say that you're stuck. Help me get out of this. Help me get out of this. Right? Because it's definitely an issue. And I know it was even asked to him in a presser last week. Like, are you?
Yeah, but I asked you about that. Yeah.
Are you aware? Like, this is a thing. And he's like, nope, not aware. And I mean, okay, you could say yes, you could say no, you could, whatever. But all you gotta do is go back and look at the numbers. The numbers are not lying. The offense has regressed.
Yes.
The other facets of the team in the face of the team, they have not regressed. That unit is completely regressed. The whole entire thing.
The whole thing. Yep. Agreed.
Until we get with Terry. So here's my other gag. It's like, no, you don't want to necessarily show your hand, right? So I got to get the ball to Terry. I got to get the ball to Terry. I got to get the ball to Terry. But guess what? You get in the game, you don't get the ball to Terry. You think that's part of your game plan, like you being strategic. It's not working, bro.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it seems like Noah Brown gets way too many targets. I think he's getting way too many. It's starting to get a little bit over it. It's much.
Almost like a decoy sort of situation, like where Terry's actually the decoy and you're throwing it to Noah. And it's like, no, just get the ball to Terry.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Go for the obvious answer. And today it was easy to go for the obvious answer because Trey Diggs was out.
Yeah.
So just go for the obvious answer. And then once it doesn't work, then switch it up.
Yeah.
Just use your best talent. Use what works based on who you're playing. Like I said, sometimes it's like, and again, like Ray said, not professing to be smarter than everybody, but it's like, I know what I'm watching, and I know when things started to switch up, and things started to switch up right at week 8 when the Bears was coming off their bye to play the Commanders, and they stifled. This offense has been stifled ever since, and that is around the week when the film is out.
It could be, and truth be told, you said the Steelers. It could have been that, like, it really could have, to your point, it really may have been them. It may have been the Bears who really gave them the blueprint.
Steelers. I said it on my show on Monday. Well, I said if everybody's paying attention, truth be told, the Steelers gave everybody the blueprint on how to beat this offense.
Yeah, Whirlpool comments that track record is showing the Cliff King record declines in the second half of the season with the teams he's coached. It seems like
it's been a knock on him for forever, man. It looked like he was turning the corner.
Yeah, Deluxe said, do you think the offense waking up late could be a turning point in the right direction? Candy,
good question.
I don't understand what that means.
Sorry, he says, do you think that the offense waking up during the end of the game is a turning point in the right direction?
No.
Okay.
No.
No positives, huh?
Yeah, no. You think it's fool's gold, right? Fool's gold.
No. Get out of my face with that, because you could have done that earlier. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I said. I was like, oh, do they want to be
heroes? Yeah, Paul
because this is not hero stuff. Just, take a page out of Dan Campbell's book. Okay, if you want to be the whole time, just go. Just go. It was very conservative. And I didn't understand why. Just go ahead and get the ball down the field, do whatever you need to do, run the football, control that whenever they are losing the time of possession game, they lose the football game, except for the Bears game.
Let's see. Here we go. We got my man George said, had enough of Noah and Olamide. Want Terry Diami, Luke to get more wide receiver targets and no more tight end targets for freaking John Bates.
Definitely Luke. I thought we would have seen a bit more of Luke.
Me too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've warmed up when it comes to Luke. I want to see him get more touches.
Yeah, you was anti-Luke.
I was very anti-Luke. I was warmed up to Luke.
Yeah,
because I could see him getting open. I feel like if I can see you getting open, I don't have an issue with you anymore. You know what I mean? So I agree. I think I do want to see Luke get more touches. Go ahead, Ray.
See, no, I'm sorry. I'm pointing at Paul's comment. You can bring it up if you want. Players need to tell Cliff this ain't work. Now, see, Candy, I feel like out of all seasons, especially during the Ron years, the player-coach dynamic is so different. I feel like they're such a connected group now that it's not going to be any of this finger pointing, and they're going to figure this out together as sort of a positive, as opposed to, now we're going to come for Cliff, like kind of like they did their offensive coordinator last year. We ain't going to say his name, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like the locker room, and this is what Bobby Wagner was saying to the game, the locker room, us in here, we still believe, and we can get this corrected. Y'all gonna talk about this, and then y'all gonna come back 5 weeks later when we in the playoffs, like, all right, how did y'all do this? So they still believe, and I feel like they're gonna figure it out together. The coaches are looking at film constantly on the sideline. I know you guys see that in the game. So I think that the coaches are still connected. So you don't see the players turn on Cliff at this point, right?
I think they want. I think and that's because of the culture that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn is bringing. But it's like a less come together as a collective and figure this out. You're bringing up an excellent point, though, because was it the Cincinnati game? Terry's touchdown. They came up with that play. Jaden and Terry came up with that play. They were like, look, this is what we're going to do. But I don't know, because where I've always hesitated, this goes back to kind of letting Jaden do his thing. It's like, where's the balance? Right? Where's the openness where you can go back, if you're Jaden Daniels, and you can say to Cliff or Dan Quinn, and I want to say, let me say, Cliff and Dan, and say, I can read and sense that they know what we're about to do. And once I get into it, I can't move fast enough to make a change, because that could be a very real, right? If he can read defenses, he can be like, oh, crap, you know what I'm about to do.
If he can do it right now.
Exactly. Because guess what? Speaking of Bobby Wagner, he ain't the only person in the NFL that can read defenses that well. I mean, read offenses that well. I mean, he is great at it.
Yeah, Bobby's like that.
Oh my God. Right there. He know, like in moment when it's changes, like, and he's able to alert his teammates in time. Right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right? Because you saw that toward the end of the game too. Like, dang, they just woo. But to that point, because that's one of the things you all may hear me on the press conferences ask, right? Like, about how do you correct the mistakes without negatively impacting the brotherhood?
Mm-hmm.
Who has shown the kind of leadership you all want to see, right? After, while you're going through adversity. I want to know those kind of things because, to your point, Ray, you got to be able to, as a collective, say, all right, let's sit here and watch this film together, and what can we do better? What and how much of the opposing team film are you then watching as well and saying, this is how we got to switch this up? Because if they waiting for us, I mean, it's almost like it's another gear of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everybody got film on, you definitely can't play this kind of football in the playoffs. No.
Yeah, the playoffs. We talking playoffs for it. Hey, Joe. Joe says nobody's talking about how pathetic the defense is playing. I don't know. I don't think. I don't think pathetic. I feel like
the point that I disagree with straight up, because you already knew what you were going to get with this defense. But when you see like a whole first half of keeping the Cowboys at 3 points, we've seen this defense in the first half of games keep it low scoring.
Right.
The challenge is the offense isn't able to score.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. I
think if the offense was scoring, we're not having really a conversation about the defense, because they probably more than likely end up winning the football game.
No, I agree.
The challenge is the time of possession and the amount of time that the defense has been out there. Once, especially once the offense know you tired, they're gonna get you. Yeah. They're gonna get you, but nobody's, just going off. But it's because the offense, not necessarily, it had shown itself so efficient, so productive early in the season. That's where you have to say something is happening, something happened, and something changed. And that's where you have to address, because you already know what you're going to get on defense.
Yeah, I feel like the defense I think the defense is kind of held strong for like quarters, but they just kind of, they get tired. It's not that type of defense where you can rely on them for all 4 quarters. Eventually, they do.
And that's something that Joe Witt Jr. said in his press conference.
Yeah.
When he kicked off on Thursday, right? Yeah. He said he was really proud of the defense and how they played for 53 minutes.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
He's right. 53. 53. Yeah. They held on for 53. But you got to remember, there's paid NFL players on the other side of that scrimmage line too. And against the Eagles, one of them was named Saquon Barkley. Yeah. And that's what you got. When you fell off, he was going to turn on. That's all he was waiting for them to get tired. And that's what happened. And so I'm serious. That's what happened. All you got to do is look at the time of possession and look at the time of possession by quarter. This is a use your clues candy wall or CWall moment. Go to the time of possession in each quarter. Look at the score. See what happens.
Yeah,
man, Candy. I know you say you barely do post games, but you're on fire today. You need to consider a career change.
I mean, I might have to change my mind on this. Especially after they lose, because I was sitting there and I didn't even go eat during halftime. I'm like, I missed halftime. I'm like, I'm writing all these notes. I'm like, I'm gonna figure this out, because I know when this shifted. I know when it shifted. Hey.
Or was a Zimmerman scheme, Jayden Wells sending blitz packages. He couldn't drop back and find open targets freely. Ray, what were you gonna say, Ray? You gonna say something?
Oh, no. I just said they ruined people Thanksgiving. And my man Robert Griffin III, who was in the stadium today, he is straight up alienating the kicker on Twitter right now.
Oh, for real? Yeah. I mean,
well, look, I made a mistake on Twitter myself, because I said something about Austin Cyber's hip being good, and I said, oh no, that hip is bad. That hip is not healed.
Do you feel like they rushed him?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to get there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Based on what I saw, I'm like, Austin, now wait a minute, Austin. Wow. I said, he's still hurt, and he's that right hip.
Yeah.
Because was that on the extra point? Was that bad? There was a bad snap, but Tressway.
It was still had time to get it though.
Tressway saved it. Yeah. He absolutely did. That's he has a right hip injury.
Yeah.
I think they brought him back too soon.
That's what I was thinking too, because he was like, it's not that, it's the way he was missing the kicks. Because usually we always talk about how his kicks are so straight. Like I'm always talking about how, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I was like,
They
oh,
was also being shanked. He was shanking stuff. I was like, oh, this is not the same dude that I was out here bragging about.
he was so upset. Now, this is the other thing that I like to share with, and I share this
Yeah.
often.
Go ahead.
No one is more upset.
Yeah.
No one than these players that make these mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Seibert, devastated, right? No one is more upset than the one that they feel like I lost the game, or if I would have did this, it would have been bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
devastated.
tough
I'm devastated
to
as a fan.
swallow.
I mean, hey, this was look. You're also talking to a person that had them at 7 games total on the season. But I don't know what those balloons were.
I'm
Right?
gonna say the same thing. What you get the balloons for, right?
No, I was saying he missed
put
2
two
feet,
fingers
and
and
then all
balloons
of a
come
sudden
out?
balloons
No.
start going everywhere.
But no,
Yo, what's happening, though?
but look, that was you know what? And let me say this too: if y'all have any Cowboys friends and family, and
They already started. They texted me.
We all do.
No.
We all do.
I did. You know what? You want to know how I knew the Cowboys was sorry this year? Because I didn't hear anything. I didn't see
exactly.
anything on my news feed. I didn't see nothing. I said, wow, Cowboys fans sure are quiet. They must not be doing too well. And then I looked up. I said, oh, wow, they're not doing too well. Goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now
they out.
Oh,
They're like roaches when the lights come back. When the lights come on.
Yeah, you know what, Candy? I think it made it worse because this was a home game.
Home
I
game.
just feel like you can't lose this game with the
Oh, no,
injuries they
they
had
shouldn't
at
lose that
home.
They shouldn't have
Facts.
lost that game.
At
They should. I mean,
home.
no, that's absolutely the case. They absolutely should not have lost that game. This was an opportunity for them to have a get right game. You know how before people used to say they would play the Commanders to get right?
Yeah, for real.
This was an opportunity, and unfortunately, it happened today, right? And another team get right, but this was Commanders' time to get right, and they missed it. I mean, I don't know how much more the defense could have done to get the ball back.
I agree. I just felt like this offense didn't like this game should have been over in the first quarter or first half where the Cowboys they did block field goal.
Yeah.
You're talking about they got Bobby Wagner strip fumble, dude missed the kick again. Like that was the opportunity to score points, and they didn't.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I mean?
did.
So at the end of the day,
Quan Martin's block.
Yeah, like that's when you take over.
Michael Davis, running it back.
Yeah. So and you don't score 7 off of that. Like I just feel like this game in the beginning, like this game should have been over because of what they did special teams and some of the defense. But what Whirlpool says special teams lost the game towards the end, but in the beginning, truth be told, they could have. It shouldn't even got to that point.
Already lost.
Yeah, like
it's already lost.
Yeah, it shouldn't even got to that point.
Unfortunately, it's like the Hail Mary game.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have never got to that point. It did, and luckily, it went in the Commanders' favor. But this team, what they've produced and what they showed early on in the season, and the level of efficiency. They should be able, and with this coaching staff, that's where I'm looking. Yes, I want to see them all come together to fix and solution around their issue that they're facing right now. But you got to evolve. Everybody got your number now.
They do.
Everybody gets your. That is what is happening. They have the Commanders' number offensively. It is literally the same mistakes since week 8.
What was like? Out of this what happened today, what was like your biggest issue or your biggest issue or most concerning issue? Would it be like special teams? Would it be, I guess it would be offense. Would it still be the offense?
It'd still be offense for me because of the regression.
Got you.
Just because of the regression. The regression is a bit steep. To just chuck it off to not everything, sometimes it be fumbles, sometimes it be this, sometimes it be that. The regression is too great for me to not be like, hey, they have to, because here's the reality. You're not going to win in this league if you can't score.
Yeah. And I agree. And I think that's the scary part. You're doing it. You can't score against a piss poor defense.
Right.
That's the thing. Ray, you want to say something?
No. I'm just looking at all the comments, fan. But I do agree with some of the positives that people are saying. Most of your goals are still in front of you. You kind of control your own destiny. The good thing for the fans now is the fans are changing their tune. They're not looking at the schedule saying, "Oh, the schedule looks favorable." because at 7-2, everybody's like, you look at it, we're looking at like 11
Yeah,
and blah, blah,
exactly.
blah.
Fact,
And
facts.
screw all that. Like Candy's saying, this is NFL players lining up on every team, so it might light a fire. But I'm not gonna go to Jim Moore route yet. I still think this team controls, like I said, their destiny, and you have your goals in front of you. The only thing is, I kind of, and I'm not a Commanders fan. Everybody knows that. Being objective, for Jaden in his first playoff experience, if it comes to that, I wanted it to be at home. I thought that they had a chance at the division.
Yeah, exactly.
You still could, but now I don't know
Yeah.
if going on the road to a place, let's say like Green Bay or anywhere where it's
Oh.
cold or you got a tough defense. I think that
Yeah.
might be
The tough
problematic. So
defense is
I
the
was
thing.
hoping he would get a good first experience in the playoffs, but they know they got to win every week. It's 1 week at a time. And to quote my man Chinnisberry, he said you got to go 1-0, and that's what they need to focus on going 1-0 next week
Mhm.
and taking it one week at a time. I think Dan Quinn is a coach to continue to lead this team and weather the storm. But Cliff is the one. If you look on any social media platform right now, his name is probably trending the most out of all the coaches and out of all Commander content. He's the one that's going to have to answer questions because he's going to make the biggest adjustments. And also, this has been a knock on him.
Yeah, it's been a historical knock on him. To the point I see about Jaden being the leading rusher today. That goes back to your previous point, Wale, of the Cowboys' run defense ain't that good.
Mhm.
They should have been like,
It's
I'm
not.
telling you.
It's not. It's not. Because Jaden definitely looked more like Jaden today,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But he's still not running as fast as he once did, and he was hitting the wheels on him, and he could,
Yeah.
because of that point about the run defense. So you just go ahead and trust your talent, right? Trust the talent that you do have, or go back to what you said in the very beginning,
Hmm.
and that is you utilize them with their special skill. You use their special skill set.
Hmm.
What they're good at, that is what you work through. That is what you emphasize. That's what you roll with. That's what you roll with. Because when you lose a game like you did today, I mean, and Dan Quinn has definitely said it, right? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Nope. No, you are not. Because around this mid-season point is when people start to know who you are. And they have definitely put the clamps down on this offense. Cliff Kingsbury's offense. And to the point of, if fans can say, oh, this is what the offense, this is what the historical thing is. What do you think coaches say
Yeah.
when they're preparing for them?
Mm.
They know what it is.
Yeah, I agree with this though. It just still say losing B-Rob hurt Cliff. Got to keep Chris Rodriguez active going
You
forward.
got to get him back first.
You
Yeah.
Gotta see you can get him
first.
back. You release them. Gotta see you can get him back.
First.
Yeah.
And it even goes back to, then if that is true, say that is true, then you're still not telling the truth, and that is next man up.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
You can lose anybody. And
100%.
we've been hearing a recurring theme of everybody knows what to do so that you don't feel the drop off. So if you're that reliant on one player, that is still on the coaching staff, because you should never be.
Yeah, my man Whirlpool said we do know your best player. I mean, we do know your best players have to be involved to win late in the season. McLaurin only being an option or decoy is not it. Yeah, I agree. I don't like them as a decoy. I agree with that.
We got a Cowboy fan checking in. Okay, interesting.
Season. Oh yeah, there's always a Cowboy fan somewhere. As a Cowboy fan, I'm burnt out on this season, but
Sure.
damn glad Dan Quinn is on your team. I guess they. Oh yeah, 'cause a lot of some folks don't like Dan
That's a
Quinn.
knock on Dan Quinn. That's
Yeah, some
me
folks
as an
don't like Dan
Atlanta.
Quinn. They didn't like him last year. I remember
Me as
that.
an Atlanta fan, that's what many Atlanta fans would probably say, because it just seems like his teams tend to fade, or they're inconsistent. But I think Dan Quinn is a heck of a coach, and I think his track record on it. This is the third different organization which he's helped to turn around. I don't care
I
what
think
nobody
he's a good
says
coach.
about him. And I think he's
And,
excellent.
and as a Cowboys fan right there, let me let you know, some of your team players
They miss him.
want to come here. Okay.
Yeah. That's true.
Moving along.
That's
Spice.
true.
All right. I put
George,
a little spice on that.
I saw what you did there. George said, I saw what you did there. I said, George said, I'm ready for the uncomfortable questions for the coaches this week. It shouldn't be a happy turkey day for anyone in that organization. Yeah. he thought it was funny. He's laughing.
You gotta say, because I was one of the people who didn't want him here. But then you get chin checked by players. Okay?
Yeah.
You get chin checked by players. Like, this is how I know. Are you a fan or are you media? Because you need to do your research. It's many of people that want to play for this man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, chin check me when it comes to that, especially if it's a player with somebody, I'll respect that now.
Hey, hold up, Paul.
Oh, no, we got folks who want to.
The report was that
folks want to reports out there different, bro.
Yeah,
it's different reports out there, my man.
It's not. It's definitely not. And I
get it though.
I get that it's hard for people when something has happened. It's just hard for people to change, and it's hard for people to see things differently than what they already see. But but at the same token, we know Cowboys fans on a good high right now because they
on a high. My man,
it was like Browns fans last week. They were on a high. They beat the Steelers. So you let them have their moment. You got to let them have their moment. But I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you something that ain't true.
Yeah, you're right. I feel you. Hey, Mike Hart. Hey, Mike. Ray, the homie Mike, hit me up. He got a picture.
he should have.
Yeah, he's petty. He hit me with a picture. He Cowboy. Hey, what's up, Mike? Man, appreciate you, homie.
That I told y'all last week. I said the Cowboy fans sounded like Washington fans when they said, as long as we win this game, we ain't worried about no other games. They know they weren't really going anywhere.
Now their season's complete. Speaking of chin music, how about Chin's hit that caused that incompletion? Yeah, that was a good hit. I was wondering why Dan Quinn challenged that. I was like, yeah, you're gonna lose your challenge, bro. Like, I don't.
Well, we were even saying like maybe that's a catch. Like maybe I guess he was trying to roll with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you want to try to roll with it?
I was like, I ain't gonna lose this one, bro.
Yeah, but hey, at least you tried, because then it would be like, was it not? I think it was something. Maybe it was Terry's play. That was definitely a first down. I was just
you mean the spot?
Mm-hmm. They do that often.
That's why I'm kind of over. I don't even argue spots anymore because
it goes back to, I think, just historically. You know what I mean? You got to think about 30 years of a team being known for X.
Yeah.
New ownership, new front office for the most part, new coaching staff. People aren't going to. It's not going to click just yet. It's not.
Nah, I'm with you.
Even when technically the team is already better than they were last year.
Say here, George say they were punting the ball. They were punting the ball back anyway. The challenge wasn't necessary. Yeah, I know it really was. They were punting the ball. I know that's what kind of annoyed me too. This game was just a weird game. I just felt like,
and let's be clear, the game was putrid.
It was an ugly game.
Teams played.
It was an ugly game.
Horrible.
I guess that's the problem. That's the problem, right?
That's the biggest issue.
Because you look like
Cowboys to play hard.
Because you expect that Cowboys to look like that. You expect them to look like that.
To look like that. The problem was the Commanders looked worse.
Yeah, you matched them. You matched the ugly.
You matched their energy, and that should never happen in organizations that are true playoff caliber teams. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That's what I agree. I totally agree with that. Like, if you want to call yourself a playoff team and a good team, you can't play like that. So I do want to see some changes. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm gonna tell you some changes I want to see.
Okay.
Personally, I want to see I'm not going to say like go as hard at it, but I do want to see De'Ami Brown take some of Noah Brown's target chances because I do feel like over the last couple of weeks, like Noah Brown has been dropping footballs. Like, I know we talk about De'Ami, but he has been dropping some key ones, and he's out there in key situations, and he's dropping a lot. He's targeted a lot too.
And
he's targeted a lot.
No, right? No shade to none of these guys. If we're just talking, you know what I'm saying? No shade ever. Yeah. But it's like Noah dropped a lot against the Bears.
Exactly. I know. I agree with. I know he did.
Same. That's why I'm a focus there on the offense.
Yeah.
Because it is literally the exact same issues every week since week 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
I
the
agree.
same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with you on this one. I was like, oh, they gonna come out there like
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Paul said, I want
Six
to
drops
see.
today. Six drops today.
Yeah, I want to see number 2 and number 12. That's McCaffrey
Yeah,
and
McCaffrey and De'Armond.
Diami. Like I just feel like he getting targeted a lot, and I get why. Like he's the Terry's decoy, Terry's getting bracketed, but he's getting targeted. And Jaden's Reed is taking him to Noah, but Noah's getting targeted a lot, and for a guy who's getting targeted that many times, he's not coming through for the rook. So I'm like, all right, give him somebody else who had a rapport with in camp. In Diami, because you've seen the candy people you can let people know he had a awesome rapport with Diami in camp and in those
Oh
preseason games. So why not give him somebody like let him get some of the work where we saw through most of the summer most of the summer where a guy that he was kind of favoring. Now you bring in somebody towards the end like towards the beginning of the season, and yeah he's had some bright spots, but like you said, even the Hail Mary game, that's the game that everybody's been in love with and enamored with because he's been living off that game. Like it's time to give the number 2 more work because to what Paul's saying right here, this is the thing that I kind of wanted to get to. Is Diami's more explosive. Is like the way they're playing, the way these defenses are playing Terry, and they're pretty much playing, and the way they're playing all the intermediate routes. You need somebody who can blow the top off the building, and you got one at number 2. So why not utilize him in that way? But I guess. I
well,
don't know.
De'Armond had dropped that wide open touchdown,
Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, he did drop. Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's enough drops to go around at this point.
Facts.
It's not,
Facts. Uh-huh.
all right, move on from it. But it's
Mhm.
like it's and Eric is right. I said it on the pregame show, like, hey, they still got 3 people. We can talk about all the people that didn't play today.
Yeah.
We still had enough, you know. And I see everybody always talking about Terry, and it's if
Moving
that,
him around.
at this
Yeah.
point, if that's the person, if you just got to give it to your best players, who's the
Yeah.
best people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what you got to do. And every game isn't going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody's saying that it has to be perfect. But dang.
Yeah.
Like at this point, you had the 10 days, the mini bye, and it looked like you might not have needed all that time off.
Yeah. I'm going to read something Professor Blue said. I'm not going to point blame at anyone individually, but I need to see more aggressive play calling and targets to Terran need to happen. Enough of his handoff, enough of this handoff up the middle on first down and second down. Yeah, I mean everybody. I mean Terry. I would love to see Terry moved around, like
Well, he
Dujanay
got
said.
moved around. And on that in that last play,
That
that
last play, yeah, but so he's
play,
talking about the majority of the game. He's always in one place.
he's always in one place.
Yeah,
But in that clutch play, when they
He-
was going for it,
yeah.
now you've moved him.
So it goes. Yeah,
He
exactly.
outruns
Yeah.
everybody, and it's just like and like I said earlier, I definitely was like, Terry, run for your life. And then after they scored, I said, you know what? I don't even like this. They're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to lose because if they don't, then nobody is, like you said, everybody's been living off the Hail Mary game. I saw, and it was a beautiful pass, and it was a beautiful catch. It was just, and Terry took off. I said that's full for Terry right there. That's full for Terry right there, and it was good to see it. But the reality is, like, as soon as it happened, everybody's like, Jane Daniels is a milker worker. Is this, is that?
Yeah.
So they would end up pulling that win off. Nobody would have remembered how terrible this game was.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like illuminated how bad it was because they lost this one, right? But they've been playing like that since week 8.
I would actually like to say that one thing is needed for the way they're playing the receivers though. That's what they're playing single high safety. So that one thing that we're talking about would kind of work out for how they're playing this Commanders team. You saw Noah Brown get the 1-on-1 on that go route, and the cornerback was blow for blow with him. Now you got Diami on it, a guy who's a deep play threat. I think you're better off going with Diami, and they're going to play him that way compared to a Noah Brown. That's all I'm saying. Like, because the way they're playing, the one thing he does would probably open things up. It's the same thing what people would say about Deshaun Jackson. They say he do this one thing, but that one thing you ain't checking him one-on-one. I mean, D-Jax is a different level, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he opens things up the middle for like the tight ends and also like you're like a wide receiver, another wide receiver go up the middle like a Terry. So I would counter that to say that Diami for this offense, the way defense are playing Washington now would be more useful than Noah Brown.
That's right. That goes back to an adjustment.
Yeah.
And an evolution, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on how they're playing them now.
Now, yes.
Now you got to use him. Like
yes.
you got to adjust.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think I saw a comment about Jeremy McNichols. I was fine with Austin, but I'm like, hey, if it's not working, try Jeremy because he's a bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had Chris Rodriguez for like the power back thing, you know, for like the power back, B-Rob backup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Austin and Jeremy have similar, but Jeremy tough though. You know, you need to go pound. Jeremy McNichols can get you there too, but they wasn't using him enough. Today, I would have liked to see the mixture of Jeremy McNichols, Diami Brown, and Luke McCaffrey.
I think you got something different. The way it's working now, something's got to change. Like it's got something you can't. The offense has been too stagnant. Something has to change, regardless of what you want to change on the offensive side of football. It's got to be. Is it either to what the chat's saying? You move Terry around more often in the game. You may rotate other wide receivers in a little bit more, but something has to change. You can't go with the same thing and thinking that you're gonna get a different result.
Noah is good for a few targets and getting a DPI.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor. He's very skilled.
He's not an amazing actor.
He's so good. He is so good at that. I'm like, oh yes.
Noah's an amazing actor.
I mean, he be out there flailing his arms and everything, and I'd be like, that is right. Noah, get that DPI, brother. Do it,
man, that's hilarious.
And I'm just like, get with it. And but everybody's onto that too. So it's like,
no, it's an amazing actor. I'm gonna use that one. I agree. Nichols should take B-Rob's role if he's out instead of Eckler. Keeping Eckler doing what he does best. Limited. I would limit. I would like. That's why Chris Rodriguez coming back or whoever. Like Eckler has to stay in his role. Like he has to stay in his because he's fresh. When you have a fresh Eckler, he's a better off runner than you making him the primary back. He's good in the middle of the field. I know Noah's in the middle of the field. I'm just talking about when you're going for those go routes, like the way they were playing, like those go routes one-on-one. I would take Diami over Noah on a go route any day of the week. You know what I mean? Period. Because that's his one route that he does well with. But it's about time to end this recap. This has been dope. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and pulling up. Before we end it off, Candy, how can folks? First, let me get the spiel. Hey, folks, if you're on YouTube right now, if you're on Bowie TV's YouTube channel, Urban Sports and YouTube channel, right now, hit the like button on these videos. It does well for our algorithm. So it's always good to have our stuff searchable when it comes to Washington Commanders content, and it just helps the algorithm. Also, subscribe. If you're on the Urban Sports and YouTube channel, subscribe. If you're on Bowie TV YouTube channel, subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. It's awesome. It does wonders for us. So make sure y'all doing that right now, ASAP. Appreciate y'all. All right, Candy, how can folks catch you on social media? And also, how can they catch your content as well?
So on X, you can follow me at CWall SE. You can follow Bowie TV Sports as well on X and on Instagram. And like Wale said, Bowie_TV on YouTube.
All right. Well, Candy, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate you. Everybody, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. This has been dope. Always appreciate Ray. That's my guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to make the balloons drop.
Even though you're a Falcons fan, so what's supposed to happen when they play the Falcons?
He's I don't know, man. Last week after Bo Nix shredded the Falcons, I was like, they don't want to see Jaden Daniels. Then I watched today, like, who is this Commanders team? I'm confused.
They're so different, bro.
No, we can't.
I don't know.
They're so different. I don't even know what this team is, bro. I can't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what? Happy Turkey Day too, man. Appreciate y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Day, for real talk.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man, for real.
Where the balloons at? How did I do that earlier?
I don't know. I saw you put like the piece. You did the piece. You just.
That's what I've been trying to put the peace sign up.
I don't want to see your balloons again. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know.
It's the end of the show. We gotta get balloons.
I don't want to see your freaking balloons. I don't care. Anyway, man, appreciate y'all for tuning. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. We are out.
Peace.